a new trailer for the Fantastic Four dropped.
Oh no!
Probably didn't even know.
Not
You
again.
probably didn't know, and it features Herbie the robot.
Who voices Herbie again?
I actually don't know.
69.
Won't like the answer.
We'll look that up.
Zendaya.
But let's take a look at this. Again, I'll just preface: the more I see, the less I like of this film.
Yep.
I feel I was really looking forward to this. Just there's a lot of new footage in here too. So let's take a look. Here we go.
The Fantastic Four. Their amazing powers help keep our world safe. But like any modern family, they sometimes need a helping hand. Meet H.E.R.B.I.E, the state-of-the-art personal assistant that does everything without a single complaint. And when trouble appears, he's a valuable member of the team. Looks like a delicious meal is on the menu for tonight.
Herbie, how's that sauce coming? That is fantastic. Is this guy good?
So bring Herbie into your home today.
Hello, Herbie.
And live a better life tomorrow. Ask your Herbie to get tickets now to see Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four in theaters July 25th.
Okay, what do you think?
Nah.
Pass.
I noticed Sue wasn't helping in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's Herbie's job.
That would be
I don't know. I mean, it's trying to be cute and it's got that sort of Marvel quippy kind of humor. We see that Herbie, I guess, assists with Franklin. Who wants to bet Herbie delivers Franklin?
Herbie will be available to buy for a couple $100
as a popcorn bucket.
There's a popcorn bucket
bucket of Herbie.
Murder you.
What do you think? You guys don't sound very excited.
You know
I'm
what?
so
Okay,
apathetic about it.
I can't believe I'm asking this out of a Fantastic Four movie, but who is this movie for? Like, I'm starting to not understand who this movie's for anymore. Like,
It's for those who hung out this long with Marvel.
It is?
Like, who are they targeting? I don't understand the marketing here. Like, I don't get what's happening.
Girl boss moms with emotionally unavailable beta husbands.
I mean, with that trailer, I would say families, like, because he's adorable.
Yeah, I would say it's the companion piece of Superman. Whoever Superman doesn't capture, that's what Fantastic Four is.
Oh boy,
is for.
Yeah, but
I just look, man. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of properties that you can fill with. Fantastic Four is the first family of. I'm trying to watch my language. It's the first family of Marvel. Like, what are we doing here, people? Like, if anything to get right, it should be the Fantastic Four.
It would seem to be easy.
That should be the thing to get right.
But there's
decades.
I know, but like with now, with how you have to portray women, you can't portray Sue how she was back then in the comics. You can't portray her.
But it takes place in the 60s.
Exactly. We would love to see that, but you can't do that anymore.
It takes place in
we
a
would love to see that.
60s where there's no racial injustice and everyone is equal. It's the world they wish it was that they keep showing us. And the reason I have a problem with that, insert Asian Vikings and Black Vikings, is because all of it gets diluted is all of a sudden you get people that thinking that's the way the world was. And then you are doomed to repeat history if you fucking sanitize it, which is what they're doing.
I actually think that's a great point. Another thing that the film doesn't do is we haven't seen anything about this film other than we've been given it's a trope trailer. These are just tropes about the Fantastic Four. There's nothing to do with what are the stakes, what is the story that's being told here other than we're in this idyllic world of tomorrow that's supposed to be this version. If this took place in the actual 1960s and the Fantastic Four were the only superhero team and they could play off civil strife and they could also play off, tune in, drop out, the whole summer of love, they could play in, it would have been a far more interesting milieu to put these heroes in. Yeah, in the Cold War. But still they've given us the Disney world of tomorrow. This is really Tomorrowland, is what it
Yes,
is.
it's Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
And it takes place in the Tomorrowland. But okay, if it does, why don't we have, other than people waving at the Fantastic Four, what is this story? What about this story makes it compelling? Like in Captain America, the First Avenger, you have this scrawny little guy who's been given the super soldier serum, and he has to step up and become a leader. That's an interesting character story to document, to follow the Steve Rogers journey, Tony Stark's journey. He's a selfish, he sleeps with lots of women, he has a lot of money, he has no conscience, and then he gets a crisis of conscience, and he realizes he has to be a better person and fight for his own soul and the soul of his company against his mentor, who's he realizes is not the person he thought he was. These are classic storytelling tropes that are eternal. What is the story of this movie? All we know is that, okay, Galactus comes to Earth.
Right, and not even our Earth. So why do I care about their Earth? This perfect, idealistic Earth.
Yeah, and it's like this. Okay, so
no offense,
but what is going
Earth.
on with them? Like and we know that it's a period of time because she's late for a period, meaning she's pregnant. Goes, oh, you're late. You're late for dinner. No, I'm late. Pregnant. Oh, you're gonna have a baby, and then we see Franklin Richards born. So we know that there's a span of time that this movie covers. But I really have no sense in all of these trailers. Why do I want to watch the story of these four people? Other than the fact that they're the Fantastic Four and there's been 4 previous movies with them, I'm supposed to already know. But this trailer hasn't shown me anything that I want to go out and see that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like these trailers that we've been given, you mentioned Captain America, the first Avenger movie. When you saw those trailers, that really showed you like Captain America's like his morality, his heart, his morals, his center, his core in the trailer, and then he gets transformed into Captain America. But you saw Steve Rogers as this weak little young boy or young man, but you still had a sense of it, like his morality through just the trailer. In this, you don't really get the sense of who these characters are. And
we have
that
to
just
guess.
tells me, like, yeah, you have to guess at who these characters are. What is their moral center? What do they care about? I don't know. I have no idea.
Unfortunately, it seems
these
like
trailers haven't showed us.
If you just watch the trailers, it seems like the whole thing is they're the Fantastic Four and they're established. So we now have to pick our own, which version you think they are, and they're established. And the whole crux of all of it is they don't want things to change. She's pregnant, and Mr. Fantastic doesn't know if he can be a dad and doesn't want things to change. And then in amongst that mess up, which first I'd say you have to make us care about them before you introduce this dynamic switch of not changing, because we don't know the status quo. They don't want to change. You have Galactus come and basically probably just want her kid.
Yeah. Here's the problem.
Through, but it's a lot.
Here's the problem. Every time we put out a Fantastic Four video, we will invariably get comments saying that we pre-hate this movie having not seen it. And all I can say about that is Marvel and Disney haven't shown. Yeah, we hate everything.
All of it.
Alan, you were saying
we hate everything. No, it's just Disney and Marvel has not shown us anything or any reason to want to get excited about this movie.
Yeah,
and that's why we're pre-hating it, because at least DC is course correcting, with Superman and giving us something that we want and to get us excited about seeing Superman, but we're not getting anything from them to get us excited to see this movie, and that's why we.
And also, I don't think it's like. For me, it's not like pre-hate. It's that whole I have a barrier when it comes to Marvel because we've been served crap over and over and over again. It's hard to get over that pile of shit. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get over that pile of shit and get excited for something. So okay, you're going to give me this movie, but now it's a female Silver Surfer. Sue's going to be the leader. So it's basically the same slop, just in a Fantastic Four,
great
costume.
Point. Where is the male energy coming from in this movie? Because it ain't Pedro and it ain't it's not Johnny Storm, because he's already said he's going to be a modern dude that cries in bed at night.
Here's something I've been waiting to see: a fully realized Reed Richards on screen.
Yeah,
and we have in all the promotion and all the trailers one shot where Reed stretches for the way Kirby drew him was so inspired. He was in his lab. He would just use his arms to stretch and grab something, or operate some crazy piece of Kirby machinery. Like we haven't seen anything with Pedro being a leader, being Reed Richards, or even using his powers. And what I'm told is Reed's powers is his intellect, his brain, not
His
really
humanity.
the stretching. And I think that's BS.
But
and the way
you
he was
could-
so creative in the comics, like it disappoints me.
But Chris, you could do that. You could have him, do something like solving a problem. He could have been doing something, and you actually see him do something that's incredible. Well, what you have to do is this, and then you show us something of the super science of this Tomorrowland world that Reed created. I'm sure we're going to see something like that. But in this trailer, these characters are not. You know what? They're not fantastic.
Mhm.
Yes.
And if this whole world believes, okay, they came back and they were altered by gamma radiation in orbit or whatever. But why does the world, we haven't, other than them being on talk shows and they cook together and they wear these costumes, you'd think that it would open like the movie opens showing this familial team that all four of them, because of their powers, are able to do something that all like a team, like literally like a football team, does something where each person is integral to the accomplishment of a goal. And that could have been a trailer moment, and show us.
And
that would have been cool.
Or let's see, like this happens so many times in the comic. Johnny and Ben get in a big fight, and Reed is wrapped around the thing, trying to hold him back from beating the crap out of Johnny. That happens so many times, but I want to see Reed wrapped around him in some convoluted way to hold back as Ben Grimm is, come on. Or like, we're not seeing those iconic moments. It really disappoints me.
No, we're getting a very sanitized, goofy version of the Fantastic Four.
The Disney version.
And the one thing you can't do that with is this particular property. Like, you can't do it, man. I mean, the Fantastic Four is already kind of a niche thing for most comic book readers. They needed to fuck, man. I shouldn't be frustrated. I shouldn't even be fazed by this, but like stupidity on this level for me is beyond my understanding.
Use your aggressive feelings, Dante.
Look, I don't
understand.
I think Matt Shackman's a good choice to direct. I would like to believe that there's a lot in this movie they don't want to show us.
Mm.
And I because there's so little actually here in terms of substance, in terms of there's no storytelling substance here.
Right, but Rob, the problem with that is Disney can't afford to be like this coy. They can't afford this right now.
I agree.
They got to show us the goods, man, because they got to prove, right?
Is it possible they'll wait till after Superman comes out, let that take the limelight for a couple weeks, and then they hit hard with Galactus stuff, and we see a lot more that we haven't seen. What I'm told from someone within Marvel who has seen the movie, and he said the new cut is even better because it's tighter. That's what I was told. That it's less a superhero movie and more a science fiction movie. By the middle of the movie, you're like, this is a science fiction movie about trying to save the world, not a superhero story.
They've not given us any indication of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Choral choir music.
I think,
and I just don't like any of it.
I think like by the time Superman comes out, I feel like it would be too late to start promoting your movie as a whole different way. If they start doing that, I feel like that would be more like desperate, like, oh, let's show our movie this way to try and get audiences to come in. It would seem like, oh, this is just like a desperate attempt to get more audience members in to show the movie in a separate way. I would have liked to see, I know that a lot of people don't like too much in trailers, so I can understand people liking these trailers because it doesn't show too much and we want to see, the movie in the theater without too much going in. But this is just like the same shots over and over. Like, we have absolutely nothing besides Fantastic Four and Galactus. What happens? We have no idea.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have, I agree with Rob. I would like to see like maybe a hero moment, but instead every time we get shots of them together, they're standing like right next to each other. That just reminds me of Ant-Man Quantumania when they were all just standing right next to each other. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen like this a hero moment between them. You know, maybe instead of individual shots, get a group shot of them fighting together as a family. But we didn't see any of that in this. So
let me ask you this: what do you think the demo thinks of Fantastic Four, 18 to 49? You know, compared to what does the demo understand of Superman? And to me, the reason I ask the question is I think you have to sell the Fantastic Four much more than you have to sell Superman.
I agree.
To a group of people who aren't as familiar with it as us people older than 50.
Yep.
Yeah. And also, no offense to Matt Shackman. Just to say, no offense to Matt Shackman, but for a movie like this, I don't know if the guy that did WandaVision and 2 episodes of Game of Thrones was who you put in charge of the Fantastic Four.
Well, to be fair, his television directing credits are pretty stellar.
I know, but still, Robert, this just seems such a important movie.
It's too big of a film for him. That's basically what it is. It's too big.
What's up, D?
What's up? I think with the failure of the Thunderbolts, I feel with Ironheart coming out very soon, Marvel can't afford these losses, man. And Fantastic Four, the way they're going about it right now, is just going to be another throwaway.
Yeah,
all right.
Especially in a crowded July,
especially
in a crowded July where it's just going to get lost in all of these other movies that are out. It's just going to get completely blown out by Superman, Jurassic World, and everything else that's coming out.
And that's really terrible for them because this is their lead-in to Doomsday.
Yeah, this is the beginning of their new phase.
Yeah,
and Ironheart.
Yeah, Marvel needs to take a break so they can competently ruin X-Men.
But I do think I'd like to believe that they're holding a lot of this back, and the ticket sales have been robust. So, I mean, I don't want the movie to fail. It's not good for anybody if another big genre movie fails, but I hope that this movie has a lot more in it than has been promised to us by these trailers.